going on here, Chief?
Okay. So this morning, at approximately 12:40 a.m., officers responded for a report of shots fired at the Super 8 Motel on Coliseum Drive. Responding officers located two individuals that had sustained gunshot wounds but were still alive. Also, a third individual who was deceased. The two individuals that were shot with gunshot wounds are being treated at a hospital and at this point believed to be non-life-threatening. I don't have the ages. I know two females were shot and injured, and the deceased person is a male. That's the most I have at this point. The incident just ended. Throughout the night, we had some exchange of gunfire between police officers and the suspect who had barricaded himself into one of the hotel rooms. A short time ago, we forced entry into that room, and we located the suspect inside that room, and it appears he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. All this remains to be proven and worked on. The coroner will have to do an autopsy because we did have officers fire back at the suspect. All the exchange of gunfire, we want to make sure we determine what exactly happened as best we can. So pending the coroner report and the autopsy, we'll have further, but at this point it appears he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Don't have the suspect's information. The only thing I know is it's believed that they do not live in Rockford, and we believe the incident stemmed from a domestic incident prior to. Again, all this remains to be followed up on and investigated and proven. I'm giving you the preliminary information as best we have at this point. With that, take any quick questions.
We just heard an explosion right before you came out here. What was that explosion? Was it a gun? I mean, I don't know the sound, I guess.
So I couldn't tell you which explosions you heard or what noises you heard. Some of the later explosive sounds you would have heard could have been from our SWAT team or our bomb tech teams, utilizing different methods. But I don't know which ones were gunshots and which ones weren't.
Chief, what prompted police to make that entry into the hotel room?
While the officers were clearing the hotel in the initial incident that they were responding, they did not know where the suspect had gone after shooting the individuals. They were clearing rooms, and they were met with gunfire from one room, which ended up being where the suspect was at.
And that's when they made entry into the hotel room after that?
No, at that point, when officers are exchanging gunfire, at that point they're retreating to try and get to a safe area so we can get SWAT in there and keep everyone safe from that point forward.
So when did you isolate
with him during this?
I'm sorry?
Was there active communication with him throughout these last
All that's going to have to be worked out through the investigation. When
did you actually locate him, the suspect, after arriving? How long did it take to find him?
I don't know. It's be within the first 15, 20 minutes that they went into a room or got to a room and started receiving gunfire from the suspect. So during the initial response, but I couldn't give you time frames right now.
And did any of the officers injured?
No officers received injuries.
And just describing that this is a tense situation, obviously you never want to see any of your officers in there. What was that like being there? I mean, you guys trained for this, but to actually be in a situation with how do you feel like you responded?
The officers did what they're trained to do. They did really well. And the investigation we'll release everything once we can.
Do you believe this suspect shot those other people, the person who died and then the person who were injured, or was there anybody else who was possibly harmed?
The suspect shot the two individuals who were injured and the person who was deceased.
And can you also talk about we're on this, it seems like a wave of violent crime in the city. We're just a few hours after another murder here yesterday. Right. Can you just touch more on that and this spike in violence?
So I can't speak to the spike in violence. The murder that occurred over off of Charles Street earlier in the night, detectives were working on that. When this incident came up, the violent crime prevention or initiative we've started, I know last night, last I heard, they had recovered 4 more guns from active, preventative measures that were going after the violence reduction. What's jumping it all off, I couldn't tell you. But right now, this incident, this one's done for now. Now we'll do all the investigation on the back end. and we'll go from there.
How much longer
With
will
the
officers be
victims
here?
too. I mean,
They'll be
can
here for hours.
Can you talk a little bit more about the victims? Was one of them, we had heard from somebody, we get so many comments coming in that one of them worked at the front desk.
I couldn't comment on the victims. I'm not going to comment on the victims. I can't comment on the victims or the suspect at this point. It's all very preliminary. This just ended. So the investigators got a long day ahead of them of backtracking everything. So with that, thank you all. I appreciate it.
Again, that is Rockford Police Chief Dan O'Shea just giving us an update here of the scene and just what has happened. He's been so transparent and great with us to come out and speak with us. I want to give you a look here. We're going to walk a little bit further here at the scene behind me because, as the chief said, they're going to be out here now for several hours as they're trying to piece all of this together. We're learning more, too, about this suspect. You know, we heard that it took about 15 to 20 minutes to actually track him down. He was actually shooting at those officers as they were going in and they were trying to investigate, you know, where that gunfire was coming from. Two of those victims, again, are expected to survive. The other victim, unfortunately, dying here. So we're going to bring you the latest here on Eyewitness News. As soon as we're getting all of this together, you know, we're going to let investigators do their jobs, piece it together, and bring that to you right here on Eyewitness News.